You know, you're saying like it's improbable that, you know, parents will step up to the plate. I don't think a lot of parents have a chance to step up to the plate right now.
But at 16 or older, you know what you're doing, so your parents shouldn't be held accountable. At 5 and I'm shooting somebody, my mother should be accountable for that.
I wouldn't really think that anyone is trying to say that if you eliminate these things in culture, then the violence won't happen. But I do think that we have been completely desensitized to violence.
Violence stems from something much deeper than that. I feel like, again, parenting may be the issue. It all depends on how the person was brought up, what they lacked in life, what they didn't get. And I just think it all stems from when a child is young and what they take in.
We the people. This is how the framers of the Constitution envisioned a living, breathing government. By the people and for the people. Democracy with a public voice. With citizen politics, people can be more than bystanders, more than observers of a political system. Citizens want to be personally engaged in politics. They want to address issues that really matter to them and hear what other people think. Today, our communities face many difficult challenges. Only through civil, informed discussions can we make good decisions, decisions that benefit the community as a whole. Through this kind of public deliberation, we share our experiences, we listen to what others have to say, and we work toward a common ground for action. This idea of deliberative democracy is at the heart of the National Issues Forums, or NIF. In communities across the country, National Issues Forums bring people together to discuss what to do about important issues. National Issues Forums are rooted in the simple notion that people need to come together to reason and talk, to deliberate about common problems. National Issues Forums in the classroom provides a way for high school students to experience this same deliberative process during social studies or language arts classes. The NIF in the Classroom Teacher's Guide includes planning guides, curriculum standards charts, and step-by-step instructions to help teachers introduce the forum process, choose an issue, and moderate the forum. Handouts provide students with background information, tips for staying organized, and discussion guides. So, how does an actual forum work? The first step is to choose an issue to deliberate. You may use one of the issues outlined in an NIF issue book or video, or have your class frame its own public policy issue. NIF in the classroom is flexible enough to fit within a variety of classroom schedules. It can be implemented over the course of a few days or a few weeks. Regardless of the time frame, the preparation guidelines remain the same.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the forum that we're going to be doing next Friday in the Media Center.
Pre-forum questionnaires help students focus on the issue at hand and consider their thoughts as they prepare for the forum. The issue book and video outline the problems underlying the issue and offer 3 or 4 possible approaches. NIF lesson handouts give students important background information on the forum process. Knowledge checks help reinforce the concepts covered. And issue book handouts help students think clearly about the issue to be deliberated.
I'm really excited about doing this forum with my classmates. It gives us a chance to talk about all these really tough issues that are going on today.
I like the idea it's not a debate. There's no right or wrong.
The NIF program in the classroom is great because it ties in with the National Social Studies standards that we use for our curriculums in our classroom. And that connection is very clear and very helpful.
After completing the preparation process, it's time to gather together for the forum.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're here to talk about kids.
A moderator helps guide participants through the forum, remaining neutral at all times and keeping the discussion focused on the issue. But it is also the responsibility of the participants to follow a few basic guidelines. Everyone needs to participate. No 1 or 2 individuals should dominate the discussion. The deliberation needs to focus on the choices outlined in the issue book. All the major choices need to be considered. Participants need to listen to one another and respect the views of others. Each issue presented in the forum considers several points of view and proposed approaches. Each NIF issue book and video presents an issue, explains its importance, and describes 3 or 4 choices or approaches to public policy. The teacher's guide lists many ideas and tips to help generate discussion. Discussion starter handouts promote thoughtful consideration and push students to ask, do I have a personal experience with this issue? What is valuable to me? What are the costs or consequences associated with the various choices? What are the tensions or conflicts in this issue that we have to work through?
To get started, I just want to throw out a question to all of you. Has this issue affected any of you personally?
My friend's mom is in charge of character education.
Kids do need more discipline because I go back to my elementary schools and middle schools, and
I think a lot of times the violence comes from instigation within the schools. I think that a lot of times people look to the parents, but it's not actually the parents' fault. It's actually the people that instigate with the kids in school. And like Andrew said, he had the personal experience with his sister's boyfriend getting beaten up. That just fuels the violence for the kids in school. And I think we need to focus more on that rather than looking at the parents and saying, you know, you're a bad parent because your kid did this.
The music, and you're not supposed to be able to buy it if you're under 17, but some parents buy it because they've taught their child, okay, they might say these things in here, but you cannot do that. That's not allowed.
A successful forum helps participants move toward shared public judgments about important issues.
All right, now that we've looked at all three choices relating to this issue of kids and violence, what we need to do now is try and come...
As actual choices are set aside and students decide what is valuable and what consequences are acceptable, new ground is reached, common ground for action.
And we have Matt, who's going to keep notes for us as we brainstorm and come up with our common ground.
Most people agree that the mentoring is a good thing and a good aspect of it, and then if the mentoring doesn't work, then you got when you guys are talking about more discipline, that's where your discipline can come into.
Mentoring can be another component that they can work together, but I think discipline should be number one.
And then I think it also seemed like we could pretty much discount that when we were all talking about the mental illness part of it, that was something that we thought was too obscure and
generally agree on is we do live in a violent society. Wars are always happening all the time. Crimes are always being committed.
At the end of the discussion, students are encouraged to summarize their thoughts and reflect on their experiences during the forum.
What I'd like is us to come up with a summary statement, just a few sentences that pretty much summarizes where we come to on our agreement level in relation to this issue.
Students are encouraged to reflect on what they learned about themselves and their peers as thinkers, citizens, and participants in the forum. Student handouts aid in this process.
What we'd like to do now is kind of reflect a little bit on what we talked about and just on how you might have changed your views a little bit or at least expanded your views a little bit.
I really liked today's forum because it brought to mind all these different issues about school violence, which is a very important issue right now with Columbine and all the other school shootings. It's something that I think a lot of kids my age in high school and stuff worry about.
This morning when I came in here, I was very adamant that we should blame the media because I was searching for someone to blame. But through this forum and listening to everyone else, the other aspects of this problem were brought to my attention.
Through reports on the forum and other group projects, students are encouraged to share their thoughts with community leaders. Forum participants also have an impact by completing the pre- and post-forum questionnaires. The information gathered from these responses is used to develop policy reports that are shared with citizens and office holders across the country. The practice of deliberative democracy is important to all citizens. The NIF and the Classroom program can help foster thoughtful, passionate discussion about important issues that will help shape our communities and our nation.
I really like this forum today because it brings up an issue in a non-confrontational manner, and I think the students were able to really discuss things in an open and free manner, and these are skills that they're going to need for a lifetime.